before we get to the how you developed your own particular style, what got you interested in cooking in the first place?
When I was growing up in Caracas, Caracas is a city with a lot of influences, a lot of different cultures that came to be in the city. So I grew up eating good. I have to say I was lucky enough that grew up with Lebanese food, Chinese food, Italian food, amazing, French, Spaniard. So all these influences, I was always fascinated by the idea of good food. So.
Now, Geronimo, when we came in here, we noticed the decor is red. What did you have in mind with the decor here?
Well, when we got this space, I wanted it to be a little piece of South America. So if you look at the pearl has a lot of metal, has a lot of leather, a very industrial feel to it that is beautiful. I wanted this place to have a different texture, so more color, definitely. I wanted more light, and other textures like wood, and that's why we chose wood. We chose like aqua vida for the ocean, the blue, and definitely the red. I just wanted it to be shiny, We kind of love that in South America.
Now, this ain't your first rodeo either, though. You've had other restaurants.
No.
And so tell me about what it is that being here in San Antonio and in this location has meant for you as a chef and as a restaurateur.
Well, San Antonio is developing enormously, but this concept in particular, the Pearl, having a place that is for chefs, by chefs, where you have different restaurants that are all chef-owned, and we all, you see all my neighbors and me, we thrive every day to create our own product, our own brand. That is something unique. I would have never dreamt to have an opportunity like that, So having that opportunity here in San Antonio, thanks to the Pearl, it's amazing.
The food was phenomenal tonight.
Thank you.
Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
Now, can you just run down a couple of the dishes that we had so our Canadian listeners have some idea of what they can expect?
Absolutely. So one of the, South America, we have a lot of sugar. So short ribs slowly braised with sugar and chiles overnight. And then we take that ribs and we break them down and we serve them with egg noodles, and a little bit of a soft yolk emulsion to give it some creaminess. It's a very nice wintry dish.
Yes.
I think, that makes you comfort.
Canada would want that.
Yeah, and for me, it's comfort food, It's comfort food. It's the kind of food that I grew up with. Another thing that you guys tasted, for example, was the shirashi that we pride ourselves in. We have about 5 or 6 top selections of fishes every day. We try to go with the Gulf as much as we can and have always fresh fish, never frozen. So my sushi bar is very reduced in terms of what we offer, but I want to have always really good fresh fish, and that's what I thrive for. So the combination in the rice is actually a little sweeter and a little more acid than your regular sushi rice because that's the way we like it in South America. But you saw that we just do it very simple. We do 2-3 ingredients and that's about it.
Now, you had kind of given us an idea of how Asia and South America all work together as far as a lot of, I would think, entree type food is. How do they come together with desserts? What happens there? How do you approach putting a dessert together from 2 totally different cultures like that?
Well, definitely getting away from everything I learned in the French pastry world that I used to live in. And that's what we did here. Asians love glutinous. Glutinous as a consistency is very much in their memory and the taste buds. So I love glutinous too. And what we do, for example, with mochi is that just play the mochi with very simple fruits, a little bit of sugar. What I like about Asian desserts and the way we have copied a lot into South America is that we like desserts that are not extremely sweet.
Yes.
They're not really sweet. So, for example, our most typical desserts like tres leches or arroz con leche, rice and milk, is porridge. You find that in Venezuela, in Mexico, but also in Thailand or in China. So those similarities are the ones that are always interesting to me. With the addition of coconut milk or with the addition of brown sugar or simply a little bit of burnt pineapple, you can make a great dessert that is simple. And the other part that I love about it is we like small desserts. You know, the desserts, even though it's an important part of the meal, it's always just a touch. And for me, it's very important that when you guys go away, you guys have that feeling of, oh, I just ate a good meal and now I'm okay. I'm not, you know, like, please find me a hammock. You know, so that, to me, that's important, you know, that people, and that little part of dessert, like a sorbet, definitely plays that.
One more question. Our production manager was raving about the sake.
Okay.
Tell us about that.
Well, you know, like I was saying, sake is a kind of a newfound love for me. I grew up like everybody else drinking hot sake, and now I learned that the sake that is hot is actually the worst, and you shouldn't be drinking that. Good sake should always be served cold. And I started learning about the different styles of sake. And this one is what we call a pearl sake or an unfiltered sake, and it's going to have a lot more creaminess to it. So the notes of fruit and the notes of the spices are going to be very subtle into it. And I just find that it goes very, very well with the desserts. And because of the low alcohol content, you can have a little bit of sake and just feel good about yourself.